Welcome to Tech Simplified, and my name is Sly Gittens. I have with me Archana Dhankar. She is a successful marketing leader, influencer, and content creator with over 19 years of experience. Her expertise has driven significant pipeline growth and revenue increases in various international markets. Archana has excelled in launching and scaling multiple brands, establishing herself as a trusted and for brand-led campaigns. Her extensive experience in global marketing leadership and data-driven approach has enhanced her engagement, revenue growth for her clients across diverse industries and geographies. Can you please share your background and joining into your first position? Thank you for joining and coming on my podcast today.
Thank you, Sly. It's amazing to be on the podcast. And once again, I am really excited to talk through to you about my experience. So I started my first job back in India in 2005-06, and I started as a digital marketer working for a marketing agency. The job I got was on back of a SEO project. So I basically, in my computer engineering, did a dissertation on dissecting Google's SEO algorithm. At that time, their algorithm was available. I had created a project on that. And on back of that research, I got a job where I was working with agency on creating their SEO strategies, but also their PPC strategies. And you know what? When I went for the interview, they said, yeah, we also want you to excel and learn about PPC. And I was like, what's PPC? Because at that time, like there wasn't even a single book published on this. Like it was so new. And I was like, they were like, pay-per-click. I'm like, am I clicking on paper? What is PPC? And since then, it's been a journey. I have loved digital marketing. I've seen it change. I've seen Google launching its first pay-per-click advertising certification. So I was probably the first batch of people who did the course. And yeah, I've seen how the industry has changed every year. Like, there's something new coming along now.
Well, that's great. And now we're at the forefront of AI. So I got another question for you. What are some of the upcoming trends are you seeing in AI, and how can someone leverage those trends?
I think we've already seen quite a few things, right? AI has been with us for a while now as well. Like we've had like automation and predictive AI. What we've seen now is the outcome of new products being launched based on this Gen AI, right? Like the Gen AI revolution is what is taking us next. And if you look at this, like we've already seen, even in marketing, us and businesses adopting it for like maybe CX a lot more. Like we've seen chatbots are everywhere now. Every business is toying their hands with it. In marketing, you see a lot more from like content creation perspective, how we can make it leaner, faster. Obviously, everybody's using ChatGPT or some form of that to create content. But I think this is just scratching the surface, right? There are so many other use cases that are being discussed and evolved, probably more at like pilot stages right now. And it's more around like, how can you look at it from like product enhancement perspective, doing that research and the manual work that nobody really wants to do or nobody really finds interesting, so that you have the people doing the more interesting work, the human connect of it. And I think the product development will be faster because of this. You will see scientific research getting fast as well. We've started using it for like email marketing, for data cleaning, for also image tagging. Really big companies who have like vast resources of images, how do you tag them so that you can leverage that resource much more creatively, actually?
That's great. And one thing I would echo that is, yeah, I've been using AI to help me with my content, some of my videos. I don't have the budget to pay a lot of people. I use ChatGPT to help me with script writing. So that goes in the next question. Many marketers are using AI to improve ad targeting. What do you feel about it? And will AI be able to take over this segment of marketing?
I think to some extent, for sure, right? Like we see when it comes to ad ops, right? There's a lot more that goes on in just targeting. We have been using predictive modeling already, right? We look at our data, we see where the trends are with keywords, with websites, and accordingly segment our audiences. What I see now is data will become even more critical because you need to train that generative AI piece with a cleaner set of data. So as long as the businesses are able to create that data set, are able to leverage that data, they would be able to use this in ad ops, in ad targeting even more. Even running pilot tests on graphics on your social media ads to say, which ad will actually perform better before even launching it based on the previous data, and then running the ad that will actually deliver results. So there's a lot more that is happening. How do you also leverage insights from your competition into there and say, my competition is running these kind of ads, these kind of graphics. What do you think will make me stand out? And Gen AI is able to give you those answers if you're able to give it that data upload. And training is going to be subjective, right? What you can't have though is train the data on 12 months old model and then realize that you're still using it in 2026, because businesses are evolving, creatives are evolving. So the constant backup of uploading of data, training the systems is what businesses might not realize is another lever that they will have to keep pulling to work on this. And that's why I think it will mainly become a specialized feature that agencies will provide, that maybe a vendor will provide rather than an in-house team. So I see this becoming more of an expertise that you would have on a platform that you would leverage. I read a research, I think last year, which said 2024 is going to be a bumper year for product development, right? You've seen like every single company is like embedding ChatGPT or some kind of LLM model to bring out new product, new enhancements in their features. And I think that's what I'm really interested in, is looking at what are those features that you can leverage to just use the tools you've got, but to a higher extent.
And I think, first of all, I think you did a great job at explaining that it's not a set it and forget it type of thing, right? If you use an outdated model, you can't expect to still continue to be successful in that. Look at Apple. They just ingested OpenAI into Apple, right? Imagine how that's going to change our way that we use our phones. So now let's switch it a little bit. With the rise of AI influencers, will AI be able to lead influencer marketing in the coming years?
Yes, I think AI influencers is a very interesting space. And I think based on the industry that you are in, you will definitely see a rise of this. There is no turning back to this. Like you can't put this genie back into the bottle,
Yeah.
how much you want. I feel like businesses will leverage AI and more candidly, which is not hiding the fact that it is actually AI edited. It's basically just coming out with which spectrum are you at? So when I see human interaction with a brand, what I see is there's one spectrum where there's research-led content, there is educational content, and then you have this side of the spectrum where the consumer is finally going to buy something. When it comes to B2C, it could be in the shop. When it comes to B2B, it could be with a human interacting and working on the specifics of what the product would look like. So at this far end, where they're just learning and researching, I think an AI-based influencer, an avatar talking and giving training videos will probably make sense. But at the same time, they're not implementing an AI-based business development or a robot at the stand just yet, because people are not expecting that. They are still expecting a human-to-human connect. We still say we buy from humans. So I think having that at this side of the spectrum is still necessary. But what I see is this lot of content that we are generating today around training videos, enablement, research will probably end up being done by the AI as well. Yes.
Yes, I think that's really good. I use it in my business for my training content, short form. I use AI. But when I'm going to meet customers, at least today, that AI model can't go meet them, right? They could talk to them through the phone, right? So I still got some work to do. But how it does help me as a small business owner, it helps me some days I don't have a haircut. Some days I got some content, but I might not have the right lighting, the right issues. I can use this pop-up AI tool, right? So even now, I'm studying models from NVIDIA. They got like software while I'm building my own, because I realized they don't have many AI, like those talking models that look like me. So I'm making my own to do that. So yeah, I definitely see that. Some areas, again, I look at AI more of a partner than a replacer. People think of Terminator and Doomsday. That may happen. I don't got a crystal ball, but for right now, I feel like it's more of a partner that makes us help us. If you use it the right way, focus on what we really truly love, and then outsource the rest and using it to help you further your dreams. It goes on to my next question perfectly. How can B2B take on influencer marketing, which the B2C world has been implementing so well for so long? Because one thing I like to say on this is B2B is a little bit archaic, it's a little bit slower. And the way we do stuff now, like even when I got customers, like especially Gen, I'll give you an example. I had someone coming to fix my house today. And I'm like, all right, how can I pay? I like to use Zelle. Can I use an app? Can I use anything else? No, cash and check. I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, why can't I pay you in something else, right? Because this is B2C. They take everything. They take coin. They'll take my Bitcoin, take my Ether. It would take everything, right? So yeah, how do you see that changing going forward?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And look, I've been in influencer marketing space for almost 11 years now. Like I started a long time back with my blog. That was probably 2009. Then the social media happened maybe in 2013 or Facebook even before that. So I've been here for a long time. And since then, I was so interested and enamored by this that I also did my MBA research on influencer marketing. At that point, I actually shifted and said, I want to look at it from a point of view of how brands can do it at scale, both B2B and B2C. When I was doing this research, I don't think LinkedIn was as popular for content creation the way it is today. Today, they have acknowledged that influencer marketing is the next big thing. I did like first-hand research. I interviewed about 50 odd B2B marketers. I interviewed 50 odd B2C marketers, looked at maybe 20 plus influencer campaigns. B2B doesn't have influencer marketing. And I was like, that was a perception because a lot of marketers in B2B back then would think of influencer marketing and think Instagram.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh no, this is not where we want to go. This is not where our brand would align with. And I get that. But influencer marketing is much bigger than that, right? If you see, we've always been influencer, whether it's celebrities, whether it's politicians, whether it's our own family and friends. I, in fact, read a book recently, which was a book club in our organization called Influence by Robert Cialdini. It's a maybe 20 years old book now. He wrote it back then. It's still relevant. It talks about different parameters of influence, and it's an amazing read. It's a thick book, but it's an amazing read. And if you look at the parameters of influence, it's always been there. Just the social media gamut has basically made it more accessible, has changed the paradigm around how brands are using it, essentially in B2C, where a normal person is able to share their story and people can listen to them who can relate and then take decisions based on that. Now, B2C has already captured it. I think B2B has been doing it. Like from my world, I think when we talk about client case studies, when we talk about analysts or advisors, they're all influencers in our space, right? Even our senior decision makers, when they come on stage and talk about something, that's us being influenced. But I think at the same time in B2B, there is still a gap. A lot of people have not tapped into this B2B influencer marketing at scale. And since LinkedIn is such a big content platform now for B2B professionals, I feel like this is a space where brands have been toying, they're piloting. Essentially, this is a space where they can leverage the same principles that we see in B2C to generate awareness, to generate even lead gen, which is one of the things we do in demand, and to also create pipeline. But I think it's just about understanding and having that open mindset. And it's coming through. It's definitely coming through, but it's still maybe some 1 or 2 years down the line where you'll see this actually peaking up.
No, and I think you said it right. It takes a little bit of time for like business has been doing it for a bit, like developer advocates. Those are influencers, right? I know Apple's been doing that for a while. They have key tech people talk about technology. Business to business usually use celebrities to do it. One thing I realized about Microsoft is they encourage me to have a YouTube channel. They want me to do it. They want me to talk about the product. So what's better than someone who's in the company who likes using the products, right? We like to call eating our own dog food, right? They want you to do that. My last company actually banned me from doing that. Like they brought legal in and said, you can't talk about marketing. I'm like, no one knows about us. Now they do. So how does this hurt you? Then we own it. I'm like, well, why should you own it? Like I did it on my own time. And now I'm starting to see those same companies are asking their team to do that. They actually make whole teams do it now because I started doing it when we talked before this. There's no one with a YouTube channel. Like very few people did talking about the products. Now I got kids that's doing it a little bit better than I am already. It's changed, it's more accepted. And I think it's cool because we see it in all aspects. I got kids right now. Now I see different dads. Oh, you've been using, one guy did a video with him vacuuming and he got a new vacuum, right? And then it got all the stuff. I'm like, yo, I need that for my dog and my kids. End up buying it, right? Influencer marketing there, right? And then I realized I saw one of my buddies. They're like, "Hey, this is how I prepare for taking my certifications. I use a tool called Notion. Never used Notion before. Started using Notion. So many different things. So I think now it's catching on. But how do we making it more palatable, I think we got to do for B2B, because I think it's a little bit more restrictive. Even like when I promote on LinkedIn, it's a lot different than what I do on Instagram. I try to bring my LinkedIn to Instagram and it's news central, right? Nobody wants to watch it. But then when I bring that onto LinkedIn, they're like, man, Sly, man, you're doing a great job. I'm like, if you'd have seen what they're doing on Instagram, my stuff was slow. So again, you're right, man. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna happen, but I think the B2B world is gonna always have a little bit more restraint because you got legal and all those things. But I think it's changing a lot faster now. How are you managing the two different worlds of B2B and influencer marketing at the same time? Because you're
Yeah.
similar to, like, we got our full-time jobs and we do this on the side. So how do you do that effectively?
Yeah. Like when just like you, I have a story as well. I started as a blogger, but I didn't start writing marketing blogs and then moved on to a fashion blog just for the same reason that I could not write what I was doing in my full-time job. And my reason for creating blog was I love to write. I loved fashion, so I thought, why not move to a fashion blog? And that took off at that point of time. And I used it as a safe space to actually test my marketing theories, right? Whatever concepts, because in corporate world, you have to be able to test things in a safe space. So for me, this space is actually like where I learn, where I grow. It's something I'm passionate about. So I don't find it like as if I'm doing like a longer day when I'm sitting on my laptop or like researching something. For me, it's just passion and it drives that. In the end, I learn a lot. I meet a lot of people, right? I moved from my home country to India. So that also fueled me having some time in my hand because I didn't have that personal circle anymore. So this actually helped me make a lot of connections, meet a lot of people, learn new things about this culture, about this country as well. So for me, this was like a perfect blend of finding something that I'm passionate about, and also taking the learnings I have in this to my job. So
Right.
I'm obviously able to like take a lot of learnings of the AI tool that I'm freely able to test on my platform, content creation techniques, what's happening in social media, email, and meet people like you and learn about new tools, right? So for me, it's about having that passion. And also one thing that I've always said is I've had a supportive family that I think you would echo that as well,
Yeah.
given that you're doing it on your personal time. If you don't have that supportive network at the back, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
So for me, that those things made it really fun. And the other thing that I learned over time, because remember, while I was an influencer and I had a full-time job, I also did a 3-year exec market MBA degree in between. So what I learned is like project management skill
Yeah.
to the like how do you get the most out of your time? How do you prioritize things that will actually make that are worth it versus time? Things that you can just take out of your day may not actually make any impact. So yeah, those are the things actually I would say help, like project management, my family, my passion, and the learnings that I was having here.
Yeah, that's beautifully said, because you're similar to me. Like, I didn't move countries, but I moved different part of the state. Right, I moved up from Brooklyn to the Buffalo. Don't have as much as a family here. I can spend more time building my skills, but my wife, my anchor, she handles the kids a lot of the time where I can do this. But you're right. I think the key thing you said, the learning, right? Because you get to learn. Similar to you, you try things on your channel, you try things building your content, and you take that back. Like, I was trying to learn some AI stuff. I'm like, what if I do all my new videos on AI? Now I know it a lot better than I did before. Like, now I'm learning these are the things I can do. I had help of one of my partners, some AI. How did I use it and adopt it? And they sell into small business marketers. This is how I used it, right? This is how it helps me scale maybe some talk tracks that you can leverage to help you. Also, how about you use this medium to talk to them directly, right? But I learned that from using this project. I love being an influencer to help out with that. So I think those are definitely something that you can talk about. But that goes into something that I struggle even with today. A 15-year-old kid doing marketing and claiming to be an expert. What are your take on this? Because I definitely get this in tech. I got people like, I got ChatGPT. Why do I need you, Sly? I can learn everything in my pocket. I'm like, you had the internet this whole time and you still need to use people. What's the difference, right? It's another tool. But what's your thoughts on that?
My belief system is that you have to be always learning and growing as a person. If you look at marketing, I've always said, I don't know what will happen in 6 months, especially in this space, the digital space. The basics remains the same, yes, 100%. But what will happen? What are the channels that will come out? I don't know. What content type will come out? I don't know, because there was no reels. There was no videos even on LinkedIn 2 years back. So I can't predict 6 months down the line. So I have to be always learning. And that's my ethos. You could be expert in an SEO or PPC if you've read everything about it. And to become an expert on a marketing, which is such a wide topic, probably will take time. For me, I am still a student of marketing. That's my belief system. And I go with that. And I would say if somebody is going with that belief system, they're probably going to be able to give you back more because they're going to be much more trained and tuned. In terms of like businesses who are coming with like ChatGPT and asking questions like, why do I need you? I feel like even a business owner who wants to do everything on their own will not succeed. Right. They need people, right? You can have your team use that and deliver more to you than just take everything on your own. Like you would still have to sit on a system, work on your desk and talk to ChatGPT and refine. Like what comes out of ChatGPT is not perfect. You'd still have to work through it.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. And the more I hang out with people who are really great at their job, the more you find out and the more you learn, you realize the more you still need to learn, right? Because as you get further along in it, there's other levels you can go to, right? And then how fast digital technology goes. Like before, I was a Cisco engineer. I haven't done that in 5 years. I was a VMware engineer. I haven't done it in 5. Am I an expert anymore? No. It changed so much that I no longer can have that same type of impact. I was in marketing. But do I claim myself to be a marketing guru? No, I know product marketing. And even then, I know my specific product marketing, my particular vertical, right? So now you want me to market fashion. I have no idea how to do that. I'm not the person you go for fashion tips at all. I go watch people like yourself and they show me how to put the different colors together. But again, so if you're hearing someone claiming they're a marketing expert, just say, what are you learning? What are you reading? Who are you connected with? What groups are you in? How are you building your knowledge? I think that you can never stop with that. What books or podcasts that have inspired you to be where you are and what you like to share with my community?
Yeah, I think I've touched upon one book already, but I will start with something else. I think one of the books that I really love, take it with a pinch of salt, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. You talked about time management, project management. I've used a lot of those techniques. I tell you, you don't have to be like 100% disciplined at the same time, right? Like you take some things that you want to apply from that book. I'm not saying that you have to just suck every single minute out of your life and just work, but I think there are some really good learnings there, especially the one he talks about 1% improvement every day. I think if you can just think of that and adopt that as an ethos in anything that you're doing, it becomes better. I think the other one that I really love was one of my first business books long time back was Culture Map by Erin Meyer. She talks about different cultures she's met, different scenarios she's seen. I've worked in organizations with team members in South Africa, Australia, US, Philippines. So it just helps me understand a bit more about their culture, the point of view they're coming from. I love to travel. Yes, I visited a lot of countries, but would I say that I know about every single culture? No, definitely not. Having that open mindset really helps. And the other one that I'm just right now reading is the Influence book from Robert Cialdini. So that's another one. Great one if you're looking to just understand psychology of people, how they behave. Telling you it's a long read, so go with patience if you're reading it. But yeah, amazing book to read. I think I have only come to about 5th chapter right now. And there's so many nuggets in that book that you can learn and apply. So yeah, definitely.
Well, those are some great reads. Doing your biggest, ugliest tasks up front. Because sometimes you're influencer, you're balancing work. What do I do first? I think you said it earlier. What can I get out my day that's non-essential? Also, you going to work full time and you put an MBA in there. Like I was looking at doing my MBA. I'm like, when do I find the time? I gotta be able to. So I'm realizing I gotta go back to the beginning, the basics. And so I'm like, what I need to do first today. I love creating content, but should I create content today? Is this what I need to do today? Or am I going to shoot today and schedule? Or am I going to set up my personal assistant to be successful so she can do these things so then I can work on other things, right? I use another book I will share. What got me here won't get me there. So that's just when I talk about always be learning and having that a part of you is sometimes I feel like I'm good at doing what I'm doing today. But when I moved into a director of product marketing, I had to change it. I was no longer the person doing the work. I was supposed to be setting the vision and having my team do the work, right? So what got me there was, doing this great content, but it wasn't going to help me be successful in the new environment that I am. So I think that's something that's also would be cool to share with the audience. But we're getting to the end, and I could talk to you all day. What are some ways our audience can follow you and get in touch with you in the future?
Oh, thank you for asking that. I am available. You can find me on LinkedIn, all the social networks. My name is Archana Dhankar. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you're looking for marketing-led content. I share a lot of tips and ideas of marketing, productivity, and leadership. If you are interested in my lifestyle content, feel free to find me on Instagram. My handle is still Archana Dhankar, but I share a lot more about content creation and also my lifestyle and travel content there.
Yeah, and I'm on her Instagram. Her content is solid. So definitely give her a follow. And that's all we got for today. Sly Gittens and Archana is out. Peace.
Thank you.